Hey everybody, back at it again. We'll call this the spring cleaning episode. And not a whole lot of fun. I'm not going to drag along cleaning the whole garage out, but got the toys out. We're going to do some cleaning because that place is an absolute wreck from this winter. I didn't do the best job probably maintaining it because I go out there and tinker for a little bit, said it was too cold, and go back in the house. But now it's about 30 degrees, still not warm, but it's comfortable enough with the blue skies and the sunshine that I think I can suffer through this. But we're going to take the old, I got another name now. Hear me out. Maybe you guys like this one or not. Back in Black Bird. It's got a bit of a ring to it. So the missus likes that one too. So it may be what we end up going with because, happy wife, happy life, But anyway, besides all that, we're going to start putting this thing together. I got all the sheet metal kind of there in the garage. I'm going to get put back on the car. One of the next things we're going to start doing here, getting the body panels on, setting body panel gaps and adjusting them to above factory specs, because the factory says, good enough as long as the door shuts and doesn't hit anything. They call it acceptable, but I like nice even lines like there on the old Transmarado. So I'm going to show you guys how to do it. The first step is just going to hang all the sheet metal on that. We're going to do a little time lapse here, so it's going to be like that for you, but probably going to take me a couple hours, but let's see how this goes. We'll do one last little walk around as the, you could call it the naked bird here. One last look before puts the clothes back on and starts to look like a car again. But all the sheet metal work up to this point is done. New frame rails, trunk floor pans, rocker panels, quarter panels, firewall pieces. So not much of the original car is left of this thing, unfortunately, but wasn't super rusty. But you live here on the Rust Belt in Indiana, well, it just tends to happen. A lot of rust, a lot of corrosion on these cars, but got it all back together. Next thing here, a little time lapse, get some sheet metal hung. Starting to look a whole lot more like a car again, a whole lot more gooder, if you could say. Fenders are on, doors are on, body gaps are absolutely atrocious at this point, but you gotta get these things hung up on there. I'm trying to get all the sheet metal out of the garage and then putting some things together here. I was working on a project here. This is not a Camaro spoiler, so be careful when you look at that and say, John, that's a Camaro spoiler. It's not, because here's what's actually happened. It may have started its life as one, but the factory Camaro style spoilers come straight up the car, straight at the back. So basically it's straight up and it's a lot taller. So I just didn't like the look of that spoiler. I wanted to make something a little different. So cut it, flipped it, laid it back. So we're getting a kind of a look like this now. So it's not nearly as tall. Now, as for aerodynamics and effectiveness, I have no idea. I'm just going for cosmetics and aesthetics and make it look a whole lot more gooder, in my opinion. It's just kind of a little custom touch, so to speak. So still working on that little project, but wanted to share that with you. So it's kind of a neat one-off thing. So not sure how many people, if anyone's done that yet or not, but my own little twist on the spoiler that makes a little, I guess, a custom touch to the car. And the mess I was working on, well, that's what I'm trying to get to. Just kind of block that out of the image. That's the easy way. But as I was digging through my parts, lower filler panel here that goes between the lower valence and the base of the core support. Before you ask, it is not for sale. I've actually heard some rumors they're going to start making these things repop now. So good news, if you're missing yours, instead of spending $200 or $300 on one, if you can find one, they may be releasing those soon, but I don't know that for sure. And then here's a trunk deck. Now I keep this one around because it's kind of special in my eyes, only because 1969, my observation so far of a 1969 trunk decks, as long as the factory trunk deck, there's some special things about it. These little holes here, and then the same thing down there. They're kind of a special thing. Now it has the holes here, here, and there for the Camaro style spoiler, but there's a good chance maybe the Camaro still use this trunk deck. I don't know, but I know 1969 Firebirds, I've only seen it on them. These holes have been stamped and produced on the trunk lid. Now you may be asking why. Why does that matter? Well, pretty simple. You see the Trans Am style spoiler? That was a dealer option on all cars. Can't say how many were, if any of them got installed, but those little pedestals, boop, line up perfect right here and here. So if you're a stickler for the details, or you got a guy trying to sell you a real Trans Am, I'm kind of curious, does it have these holes too? It's just something I've kind of noticed on my cars that had a factory trunk deck still tongue-tied. But I'd like to keep that because, well, it's kind of a neat little piece and it's not rusted out too bad, and I think I can repair it if I needed to. And last but not least, we'll kind of cover up the nightmare that I'm trying to get rid of. Hoods. I bought this repop. It's a nice hood. Quality's pretty decent. But one of the things I've noticed, just kind of sharing some more between repop and factory, the stampings are a little bit different, of course. Now, the biggest difference is the height from the top to here compared to repop and factory. This is a whole heck of a lot taller, almost a 1/4 inch difference in height. So if someone's trying to sell you a original, say, 400 style hood or Trans Am hood, quick reference that I've always learned so far to this point, check this here. You're gonna get the measurement. I probably should get a tape measure, but you get the idea. A factory hood's a whole heck of a lot taller than the repops. Just wanted to share that with you before I throw that hood off. So I got to find then this pile of harnesses, pieces, everything's in this corner. Somewhere in this pile is the hood hinges, so I can get the hood put on. So I'm going to start digging that out next. A lot of boring math later. I've got the old spring cleaning all done. Now you can see the Transmarado, and I can actually walk between the two garages now without tripping over stuff. So I have this old Pontiac 455 that I'm not sure of its fate yet, but it had an oil pressure issue, and I just didn't feel like messing with it, so there it sits. But other than that, the pile of rubbish, well, it turned into a pile of tools: the welder, engine hoist, pressure washer, and some wheels, and chrome buffer, and then a big old sandblaster. Not sure what I'm going to do with that thing yet, but it works nice, but it is one heck of a mess, so I think I may have to find a new home for that, but haven't decided yet. I got the spring cleaning all done, assembled the back end Blackbird. Beginning to like the name, maybe that's what I'll go with. And of course, now you can see in the other bear, the Transmarado, I actually walk around it, and all the junk is picked up now. So definitely looking a whole heck of a lot better out here. So I don't know, it's the most exciting episode, but did get the car put together. It makes it look like a car. But probably the next thing we're going to do with this car is start working on setting and adjusting panel gaps. That's something that takes a lot of time, fine tuning, especially when I'm going to paint the car black. Back in Blackbird, well, that means I'm going to paint it back to black. I think that car looked that way. Everyone knows this car since I was in high school being black, so kind of has to stay that way. The only thing I've upgraded is what's under the hood there. A whole heck of a lot more horsepower, I guess you could say. So, but nonetheless, had a lot of fun. Getting the garage cleaned up definitely makes me feel a whole lot better out here. Got some room to work again, but we're dialing in these panels, doing some body work, get things prepped, and then keep moving forward and see if we can make this thing all shiny and black again. So I've had enough fun this time around. I'm going to go inside, get cleaned up, find something to eat like I normally do, and we get back to this next time, and we'll see you then.